It is 3 in the morning. You are staring at the glow of your screen, watching a deadline slip past. You know exactly how bad the fallout is going to be, yet you remain entirely paralyzed, unable to type a single word. This state is frequently confused with laziness. However, laziness is a lack of willingness to exert effort, characterized by a total indifference to the task's outcome. Procrastination is the opposite of indifference. It is an internal conflict where the person wants to complete the task but feels unable to start, resulting in intense guilt and distress. Chronic delay originates from a collision between the brain's emotional regulation centers and its long-term decision-making logic. We have to move past moral judgments and identify these specific cognitive errors before we can realistically expect to change the behavior. At a psychological level, the amygdala can perceive a difficult task as an imminent emotional threat. In this state, a project stops looking like a simple to-do list item and begins to look like a source of potential pain to avoid. This is a structural equation model from a 7-day daily diary study tracking avoidance behavior. It begins with perfectionistic concerns, an extreme fear of making mistakes. These concerns lead directly to intrapersonal discrepancies. The subjective sense of falling short of one's own standards creates a paralytic gap between the actual and ideal self. To the brain, this discrepancy feels like a failing. It triggers procrastination as a defensive maneuver to escape that unpleasant self-awareness and provide immediate relief. High achievers often find themselves stuck in this cycle because the higher they set their standards, the more terrifying the prospect of falling short becomes. Our biology also exploits a mathematical error in our decision-making. To the brain, doing it tomorrow appears to be the most rational choice available. Behavioral economics defines this as hyperbolic discounting. Our preferences for a reward change based on exactly how close we are to receiving it. Conventional theory suggests we should devalue future rewards at a steady, logical pace. On this graph, the blue curve shows that the value of an essay finished in a week is only slightly less than an essay finished today. In reality, we follow the plummeting red line. As soon as a reward is no longer immediate, its perceived value drops dramatically. This present bias means the brain weighs the immediate comfort of avoiding effort much more heavily than the massive, distant benefits of finishing the work. Present bias creates a mathematical trap. The brain discounts the future so heavily that the current relief of delay always appears more valuable than the long-term success of completion. The mental and economic trade-offs we make for temporary comfort eventually manifest as physical health crises. A 9-month clinical study linked chronic procrastination to severe somatic symptoms. Students reported significantly worse sleep quality and persistent shoulder and arm pain. This delay also correlates with increased rates of loneliness, high daily stress levels, and long-term financial difficulties. These consequences suggest that we aren't actually avoiding the task's stress. We are simply internalizing it and allowing it to damage the body over time. Sustainable change depends on regulating these emotional reflexes rather than reorganization of the schedule. To bypass the threat response seen in the perfectionism model, we can use the first-minute barrier. Engaging with a task for only 60 seconds is often enough to lower the initial spike of avoidance anxiety. We can neutralize intrapersonal discrepancies by breaking projects into tiny, low-stakes subtasks. This prevents the brain from comparing our current progress against an impossibly high, perfect end goal. Direct self-empathy also counters perfectionistic concerns. By accepting flawed progress, we reduce the self-doubt that feeds the desire to delay. By identifying the psychological fears and mathematical distortions that drive our delays, we can stop borrowing comfort from the future and reclaim our ability to act today.